Yeah, he came in with the sink. It said, all you guys are fired.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, I'm new to this. I've never ran a Twitter. You guys have run Twitter for years. What can you teach me?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Raul.
This is DJ PJ.
This time, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Let's get into it. It reminds me of the whole Elon Musk thing. You know, it's super interesting just because, like, I know it's a hard segue about it, but you know how he's like, he all about free speech and everything, and like now he's like blocked Kanye and stuff like that. So like, how do you, like, at what point do you realize like that that some sort of enforcement, some sort of actual like rules, guidance, what have you, like is actually necessary in order to make something work, you know?
Yeah, we need to have civility.
Right. You need to have structure. You know, you need to be able to like actually engage with the people that you're working with, right? Like to be able to like.
Yeah, he came in with the sink. It said, all you guys are fired.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, I'm new to this. I've never ran a Twitter. You guys have run Twitter for years. What can you teach me?
Yeah.
Instead, he says, I'm the smartest guy who ever lived. And what I say goes.
Yeah, you know what's interesting though? Just like the other day, New York Times, or I think one of those publications, they ran a story. The hate speech, the amount of hate speech increased like twofold, you know, since he took over.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah, the chart said something like hate speech against like Jews went up like 140%. Hate speech against women went up by 100%. Hate speech against black folks and the use of the N-word went up by like 300, 400%.
I heard the day that he took over, the use of the N-word like went up tenfold because it was all just people trying to figure out where's the new
Well, the
line.
boundary is, yeah.
So the line used to be here. We suspect it's somewhere out here. So we're just going to keep marching until we hit that new line.
Right. That's the slippery slope.
Yeah,
that all these dudes are always afraid of. The slippery slope is the thing that they like to do.
Well, there's two groups. You got the people who actually hate brown people and women and gay people, and you have the edgelords. So they're both kind of, you know, tiptoeing towards the line with different, you know, reasons in mind, but it accomplishes the same thing.
I almost feel like the edgelords, though, like whether they like it or not, they are that. Like deep
down, what are connections like with professional middle-aged women? I don't talk to them.
Right, like for example, like the reality is that like, do you remember that South Park episode where Randy like he becomes so sarcastic that he can't stop being sarcastic? So there's an episode where he like becomes so sarcastic that he just absolutely can't even communicate a sincere thought anymore. So when he actually needs help, he's just being super sarcastic. So like,
well, if I was hungry, then I would. Yeah.
So then I often think about like that threshold in these like edgelords, right? Like these people that are constantly like saying like, oh, we don't really think these things. We just think that free speech is a thing and like we should be able to like say the N-word and stuff like that. But it's like at some point you internalize all that, right? And at some point,
or at least have to take responsibility.
Right.
What if your mom read your Twitter feed and it was just nothing but gay jokes and racist jokes?
Well, like even just what if you don't get selected for a job because of your Twitter feed?
Yeah.
And yet these same people turn back around and say, it's everybody else's fault, not mine.
No one can take a joke.
Right. Like comedy's dead. Is it though? Like there's a ton of comedians out there that aren't. I mean, you can still make fun of things without necessarily being like harmful or like
Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, dude. I remember I went to one of his shows when he did the first special.
Okay.
And that was crazy because you could feel the tension in the room. And I remember I was sitting next to my friend's girlfriend. Like I had gone with like a friend, his girlfriend, another mutual friend and stuff. And she got kind of drunk. And like she was like when he started saying all like the trans jokes and stuff, she started going off like and being like loud during the taping.
Like loud enough for
Yeah,
people
loud
5
enough,
seats
loud,
away to hear?
loud enough that like people in front of us were like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, shut. And I was like, "Yo," and her boyfriend like didn't do shit, dude. Like, I had to kind of like step in and be like, "Okay, like, let's go."
It's okay to be upset. We'll
Yeah,
talk about
let's
it
go.
later.
Let's go to the lobby.
Let's not
let's
ruin
go, let's
the
go
show.
To
for
let's
everyone.
all go to the lobby.
Let's all go to the lobby.
lobby.
No, dude, I felt so bad though because I understood where she was coming from, and at the same time, it's like, fuck, dude, like, this isn't the time to address any of this. Like,
Totally.
plus, you're only one person. Like, the reality is that all these people
Hundreds
are gonna
of
get
people.
pissed off at you,
Yeah.
and they're gonna miss the point that even if it's a solid, viable point that they're gonna miss that. They're gonna miss the fact that like.
If
guess what?
Dave
He's-
Chappelle
he's
says
using his
something
platform
anti-trans and you just say, this guy's a dirtbag, then you're just going to look like an angry audience member to a bunch
Like a
of people
heckler.
who
You're just gonna
paid
look like a
good money
heckler,
to
yeah.
see Dave Chappelle entertaining them for the night.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is that at that time, people didn't understand what the hell Dave was doing. And he.
Oh, he didn't explain himself until after he got in trouble. Like, you guys have been making all these jokes about black people and you guys can't take a joke. It's
Right.
well, you should have said that first and then made your jokes.
I think a
not
lot-
just, talk trash about trans people and be like, oh no, it's just jokes. My best friend is trans. She killed herself.
Right. Because then at that point, it sounds like, hey, my best friend is black.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It's
and it's a touching story, but at the same time, it's like, well, would you have told that story had you not got in trouble?
Right. Had you said that story prior, then maybe you would have had
You would
a
have
little bit
purchased
more.
so much real estate to
So much social
walk
capital.
around in. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think comedy sometimes misses that kind of like mark in regards to, or not sometimes, oftentimes misses the mark of like actually explaining itself. And I think
Oh, you just don't get the joke.
right.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, should good comedy like be self-explanatory, or should you be able to have a conversation around it prior?
You know what? If I would have heard that joke, I would have gotten up, walked all the way to him, and slapped him.
Well, that's what you do now. I think he almost got tackled at one of his shows.
Yeah.
The
Well,
guy-
it was
Oh,
after
yeah.
the slap.
Yeah.
The title.
So that made it.
Well,
That made it
you know
okay.
what? Fuck Chris Rock. I said it. Thank you for listening and watching. This has been Raul.
PJ.
We hope to see you with us again.
Come back for more.
Just
know
come
how the
back. Just
internet
come
works.
back.
Like, subscribe, do all that.